a foreigner get a mortgage in Mexico? And the answer is yes, absolutely. The only thing is that there are stricter requirements. For example, interest rates are typically higher from an 8% to a 12%. You also have to pay more down payment, and the process can take longer. Let's go over the most common financing options in Mexico. Start with Mexican bank mortgage. You are limited to certain banks because remember, you have to have residency in order to open an account in a Mexican bank. Let's go over a few requirements. For example, they will ask for a credit report from back home, tax returns from the past 2-3 years, bank statements probably from the past 6 months, and like all other personal documents. Now, if you have dual citizen, this is basically the same for you. It's just now you're open to a more variety of banks because now you have your citizenship, so you can open a bank account in whichever bank you want. So, and for example, let's say you have dual citizenship, but your income is from the US, then there's a certain bank that will best accommodate you, but they're still gonna ask you for like other requirements basically that I just said. And down payment is typically around 20%. 2, you have the developer financing, which means in-house. And this is very, very popular in Mexico, especially in areas like Yucatan that it is growing. It's growing like crazy, you guys. So you have opportunities there if you don't want to go through the bank. How it works. Many properties are like on a pre-sale because they're barely starting the projects, and some are move-in ready. So it depends, right? If you buy a property it's not going to be ready until 2-3 years, and you have that time to make payment arrangements and pay it off. But like I said, whenever they give you the key, you got to pay it off. Easier approval, you don't have to go through the banks, so a lot of people go through that route. Plus, it's new projects. There's also other financing options, for example, private lenders, or using the equity of your home, or obtaining a loan from the US to purchase cash in Mexico, which is the most common for buyers in Mexico, going cash. A little bit about the down payment and closing costs in Mexico. So it depends about the seller. Typically they ask 20% down payment, but there's some developers that they will accept 15%. There's some other that require 50% down payment. So it just depends. Or if you're just buying from a regular seller, they usually go for 20%, or you could just negotiate, right, when you're in that part of the buying process. The closing costs expect to bring an extra 6% to closing. And that includes like notary fees. There's also taxes for buying property in Mexico. Everybody has to pay it. It's called adquisición de impuestos. And there's like the notary fees and appraisal and all kinds of fees, right? And if you're buying near the coast or the border, remember you have to go through a fideicomiso, so have in mind an extra 6,000 depending where you're buying, right? In Merida, the most would be around there, 6,000. Now let's talk a little bit about the capital gains. If you're a foreigner, you have to pay up to 35%. Remember, if it's under 2 people, each have to pay 35% and 35%. So remember about that. This is very important. Mexican citizens or dual citizens may qualify for exceptions depending if you meet the requirements. The time frame for loan approval and closing and all that, in Mexico, it takes a little longer. It's typically from 2 to 4 months unless you're paying cash. And it'll be maybe 30 days, or it could even be sooner, depending on what y'all agree to. About buying in Mexico, DM me to explore the best options for you, and I could connect you with the right people if you want to go the financing route. So thank you so much for watching. You have a beautiful day, and God bless you.